Alright guys, so today we're going to share 12 of our hottest takes that I promise will make you rethink everything. This is going to be contrarian, this is going to piss some people off, but this is a must watch if you're a longtime Coinsider viewer because we're going to have all 4 of our hosts share their hot takes, not just me. So this will be a great way for you to meet the new hosts that'll be appearing on this channel real soon. But anyhow, let's start with my personal hot takes, and my first one is that 2025 will not be kind to Solana. Yep, I'm predicting that the sole underperformance starts now. Why? Well, I wrote a long thread on X about it, but basically, I think that the meme coin supercycle that has been driving Solana's outperformance has topped. Also, I think there are too many extractive forces on Solana, like Pump.Fun, as well as Solana's huge network inflation. All of those are going to be particularly hard to overcome, especially if the market is not in an all-out bull mode. So, to be specific, I'm predicting that both Sol ETH and Sol BTC pairs are both topped for this year. And honestly, I'd rather hold SWE or HYPE if I'm looking for a beta play per se. Anyhow, my next hot take is going in a totally different direction because I'm calling that several big crypto companies will IPO this year and that will mark the cycle top. You see, many crypto companies have been holding off on their IPOs because of the overall market sentiment. But with the change in administration and the bull market potentially returning soon, it looks like there will be no better time than 2025 for them to finally go public. So to be specific, I'm looking at companies like Kraken and Circle to IPO this year. But just like the Coinbase IPO that marked the top back then, I think that these will do the same, just because their timing will likely match up to when the general market sentiment is the best. Anyhow, my third hot take is going to take yet another turn because I'm predicting that the AI crypto sector will come roaring back this year. You see, in the recent market correction, a lot of AI crypto projects that rocketed immensely fell back down to earth. Some of them even pulled back 90% or more from their all-time highs. But does that mean that the sector is cooked? Well, no, not at all, because AI is still one of the hottest narratives on planet Earth. So you know that brings about general enthusiasm and attention to any project that's even remotely related. That's why I'm quite confident that AI crypto will return, but the best performers won't necessarily be in the AI agent sector or even the original AI crypto sector, but rather something different entirely. I think it'll be some new subsector that emerges due to a new trend or a new technology even, which is why I'll be watching this sector super closely in order to get in early if and when it comes. But anyhow, that's my hot takes, and for the next 3, I'm passing it on to Josh, our old co-host who you've probably seen in some of our videos before.
Thank you, Kevin. Those were some pretty hot takes. However, my first hot take is that Bitcoin skyrockets to over $250,000 per token by the end of this cycle. Yes, $250,000 per Bitcoin. And this is because the market landscape has evolved so much that entire nations are planning their Bitcoin reserves and loading up on BTC. We also have behemoth level funds like BlackRock and entire countries buying our bags. Now, my second hot take is that 4-year cycles as we know it are over. Now, this cycle has already behaved way differently than what we're used to, with new all-time highs for Bitcoin being hit a lot earlier than expected. Now, alts are also dumping as Bitcoin flies. We have high TVLs across all of crypto, and this actually limits the price action that we're so used to. This also goes hand in hand with my third and final take, which is that alt season is gone forever. Now, despite Bitcoin soaring to over $100,000 per token, we still have not seen a market-wide alt season. And I don't think we're actually going to get this at all because the alt market is more diluted than it's ever been in crypto history. Now, we have a plethora of new blockchains and altcoins that essentially do the same thing. And I believe this fragmentation greatly hinders a market-wide alt season. Instead, I believe we'll have narrative-specific seasons and pumps like we saw with SocialFi last year, AI agents, and other niche sectors. And with that being said, I'm passing it off to Josh R., the other Josh from Coinsider.
Hey, Josh, I appreciate it. You teed me up perfectly for this first one. So we're going to ease into it and get hotter as we go. So this first one is that Bitcoin's top, and more importantly, altcoins top, will not be in 2025. So to me, this all comes down to monetary policy, which is the interest rates and quantitative easing, quantitative tightening, and fiscal policy, which is government projects and stimmy checks, for example. Last cycle or the cycle before in 2017, they aligned perfectly with Bitcoin's cycle. This time they haven't, because the Fed's in a tough spot right now. They're trying to thread a very small needle. This is the first time ever that they paused rate cuts while continuing QTs. And basically this leads us to a scenario where there's really only two outcomes. The first is that the Fed achieves this miraculous soft landing, but it's going to take a while, which means it would be a very slow grind upwards, and the top heavy assets like Bitcoin would lead the way for the rest of 2025. And then we'd have that real rally end of 2025 into 2026. The other path is a path where risk assets might have to have some sort of significant retracement in some type of recessionary scare, which would then cause the Fed and the government to pivot their policies, increasing liquidity. And in that world, you could see a prolonged blow off top at the end of 2025 into 2026 as well. But either way, a 2026 top is plausible, and it's something that you've got to prepare for. All right, so for my second, this sector has been absolutely wrecked for the last month or so, but it's going to make a comeback. The AI agents narrative as a whole is going to be bigger than NFTs in 2021, and a Mag 7 company like Meta is going to launch an on-chain AI agent before the end of the cycle. So this is the first time that the traditional AI world is really aligned with Web3. Jensen Huang, CEO of NVIDIA, called AI agents a $1 trillion opportunity. So of course, in 2021, NFTs were kind of that catalyst that convinced retail that Web3 technology was necessary. AI agents will do that same thing in 2025. And this became even more obvious after DeepSeek R1's release, which shattered the AI world, because DeepSeek is 20 times cheaper than the previous leading models to run AI agents and AI protocols. And what makes this special for Web3 is because Web3 technology is literally absolutely required to make truly autonomous AI agents. Like, think about this. OpenAI has self-imposed bottlenecks and limitations on what their agents could possibly do, because it can't go on other companies' ecosystems. It can't have a bank account. It can't manage money. And I mean, let's be honest, it's going to be censored too, so it can't say whatever it wants. But instead, Web3 agents have all of those abilities plus more. They can go cross-chain, use all the decentralized applications in the entire cryptoverse. They can access Web2 applications. They can use NFTs. They can manage their own money. They can invest. They can create DAOs. They can create their own self-funding. They can raise money. They can do all of these things that literally any Web2 agent could never dream of doing. And also watch out for AI agents in gaming, because DeepSeek R1's reinforcement learning architecture is absolutely perfect for the gaming environment. Okay, so speaking of gaming, how about this one? The GUNZ token launch will be the most hyped, biggest gaming launch of the entire cycle. GUNZ is the token for Gunzilla Games and their game Off the Grid. Off the Grid is like this extraction shooter battle royale, and they're positioning it as the first narrative-driven battle royale ever. Their campaign is integrated into the battle royale, and it's directed by Neil Blomkamp, the director of District 9, which is like one of my favorite movies of all time. And it's the first Web3 game that's listed both on PlayStation and on Xbox, and their marketing has been super impressive. They have Scump and Ninja in the game as playable characters, and they've been doing a lot of creator tournaments. They have over 500,000 active addresses on their testnet in the last 2 weeks. People are forgetting, like, they're still in beta. They haven't even released their battle royale with their 60 hours of campaign directed by Neil Blomkamp. So it is something you've got to be aware for, and it could very well drive hype into the GameFi sector as a whole when the token releases. So those are my three. And now I got the incredible honor of sending it over to Daniel to see what he's got in store for us.
Thanks, Josh. Okay, let's get into it. So my first hot take for 2025 is that the RWA sector will absolutely rip. Why? Because RWAs are the next evolution of finance. They integrate blockchain tech with traditional finance. And that's big because in 2025, TradFi is coming to crypto in a big way. And the other major reason is, well, that in crypto, narratives absolutely matter. And tokenizing real-world assets is as hot a narrative as they come. Right, my next hot take for 2025 is that NFTs will make a glorious comeback. Now, I don't think it will be as crazy as last time, and it definitely won't be NFT mania, where like literally every project had sky-high floors, but I do think that the major projects will have their time in the sun again, and some key new players will enter the market and run hard. Okay, my next hot take is ETH L2s are parasites. Well, okay, let me explain. Running an L2 is a business, and many of them give zero Fs about the users or the builders on the chain. They are simply there to extract max value and prop up the illusion of Ethereum alignment. L2s are the ultimate grift to make boatloads of money from a highly liquid asset ETH, instead of risking their own asses by building something unique with their own gas token that could fail. L2s extract far more value than what they return to ETH. Some generate like 100 million in ETH fees and only pay Ethereum like 10 million of that for data availability and security. And then jeet the rest for profit. A parasitic relationship if ever I saw one, which could be leading to the slow eventual death of the host. Alright, and those are our hot takes for 2025. Comment down below if you agree, disagree, or have your own hot takes. And we'll see you in the next one.